today we have a very amazing guest, someone that I really truly look up to her photography, someone that is just an incredible person as well as creative. So we have the amazing Jody MacDonald. So if we can bring Jody into the room, please. So Jody, I actually met Jody in Hawaii. She actually came for PhotoCon Hawaii. Hi, Jody. How are you doing?
Hi. Hi, everyone.
Yeah, awesome. So Jody, where are you joining us from? I know you're a bit away.
I'm at my house in Sun Valley, Idaho.
Okay, so Idaho. That was quite a ways away. Is it how are you guys doing over there?
Yeah, we're doing pretty good. We had in early March, we had the highest infection rate of COVID in the nation, more than New York City per square capita. So it was pretty crazy here for a while. I got COVID.
Whoa.
Everybody I know has had COVID, but we're it seems like everybody's already had it and everything's opened back up again. So
wow. Well, I'm glad
yeah,
you're doing
it was
good.
crazy here for a
Glad
while.
you're doing better. It was
Yeah.
nice. Jody and I were texting this morning, and she was up in the mountains with thousands of sheep all around her. It was pretty wild to see, and sent me a picture. And then I was like, I'm at the beach right now, about 7 a.m. this morning. So it's wild to be in these like opposite places, just so beautiful, so different and diverse, you know?
Yeah, I mean, you sent me this like
Mhm.
tropical beach photo, and I was like, "Wow, that's just so amazing."
Yeah.
Yeah, and I was surrounded by sheep. I think you had the better
No way.
location.
It looked incredible out there to be in the wilderness in that way. And it's just such different like regions, but I feel like a lot of like our pieces in our photography um, cross over. There's a lot of like similarities, and I admire your work very much. I saw Jody's work. Was it 2 years ago now, Jody, that you came in for PhotoCon Hawaii?
Was it like last September?
Was it
I
last
want to say.
September? Well, this past
I
three
think
months feel like it's been an entire year by itself. Sorry.
I know. Yeah.
Oh, wow. Okay. So Jody was in Hawaii last September, presenting at PhotoCon Hawaii. And we got to check out her work and was just incredible. The funny thing is you'll see there's a lot of images that you don't always realize the photographer, the face to the image. And so I saw so many images. I was like, wait, but I've seen that one. And I've seen that one. And I saw that one there and this. And so it was great to finally put a face to the images. As a photographer, you're behind the lens. So to be able to see it and who took those photos. But yeah, with no further ado, let's jump into your slideshow here and kind of go through some. Wow. So we'll just jump right into the beginning. So
Okay.
Tell us a little bit about yourself
yeah,
though first,
ahead.
Jody, before we jump in, please.
Well, oh man, I'm originally Canadian. At a very early age, moved to Saudi Arabia. My dad had a contract to do he worked for a Canadian telephone company, and they got a big contract to set up the telephone system. So I grew up there. I lived there for 13 years. And then during that time, I got to see a lot of the world, because one of the perks that we had was they would pay for us to go on vacation, and my parents had never been anywhere. So we took every opportunity to go and travel. And so I think when I was young, it really instilled in me just like how incredible and amazing the planet is and how much there is to explore. I always tell people, like, it made me really want to be like in Indiana Jones, you know, like having these adventures in these remote locations and exotic locations. And I think that's where adventure and travel for me really started. And then in university, I ended up doing a Bachelor of Outdoor Recreation, which everybody makes fun of me for because it's like, quote unquote, not a real degree.
Sounds fun.
I just was climbing and I was just climbing and camping and for 4 years. But I took a photography elective, and I've always been in love with art, but it was kind of like lightning striking for me. And I was like, wow, I can actually combine my passions of adventure and photography. I can like take my camera with me and document like these amazing experiences I was having in the outdoors. So then after university, I started guiding in the mountains and raft guiding in Alaska. And I was just started taking a ton of pictures, And then I kind of felt like societal pressure, like, oh my God, I should probably go to a city and try to get a real job, whatever that meant. But I just like felt like I needed to try it to know I could, whether I liked it or not, or if I could cross it off the list. And I ended up getting a job at an outdoor company, being their photography editor, which ended up really helping me because I was looking at photos all the time and analyzing them and, you know, critiquing them. So, and then I got a good sense of like the submitting process behind that, and how many images to submit, and, you know, what editors were looking for. And then I got tired of the office job. I realized I'd rather be outside taking pictures than being in the office. And I had an opportunity to start sailing in the South Pacific, and I jumped on that opportunity because I was like, I don't know if I like sailing, but I know I probably won't get this opportunity to again. And I knew I could always come back if I didn't like it. So I ended up going to the South Pacific, and I don't know if anybody's seen my TEDx talk, but my first sailing passage, or my first experience sailing, was like probably one of the worst experiences it's one of the up there that you can have in sailing. It was like it was horrible. And I thought it was from New Zealand to Fiji, and I thought when I got to Fiji I would hightail it out of there and never come back. But I ended up sailing for 10 years. And
hopefully it was smoother then after that first trip. It's all smoother after that.
It was funny because the first trip was by far the worst I ever experienced in 10 years.
Really weed you out, right?
Yeah, and so
really kind of like.
Yeah. And I was suffering from seasickness.
I can't imagine.
So it was, but my love for, you know, using the boat as a vehicle for exploration was phenomenal, because we were really trying to get as remote as we could, and we were getting amazing access to places. And I didn't really love the sailing, but I loved the exploration of it. And then I really used it as a platform to really develop my photography career, because I thought this is an amazing opportunity. If I want to take pictures, I should, you know, really take advantage of the situation and start getting better and start learning how it, you know, it all works. So that's what I did.
Wow, that is.
And then
that's quite a start to it, and finding your like footing and where you did. I mean, let's try to click into that first image as we continue talking with that. And I mean, this really explains, I feel, why and what you're doing. I mean, this is why we explore or travel. Where is this taken?
Yeah, so this is in French Polynesia, the Austral Islands, which is a set of islands way the hell out there. Zach, I'm sure you've spent a lot of time in French Polynesia.
I've never been to these islands though. So I'm like looking at it. It kind of gave a Bora Bora look, like with just a mountain top, but it didn't have the lagoons around it, and the water looked a little too deep without, like, you know, the barrier reefs that they generally have.
Yeah, but if you look at a map, like the Australs are kind of like way out there, and they're pretty raw. I love them. There was really low population of people living on the island, but I think one of the reasons why I like this image is because it really depicts kind of the exploration component or feel of what the boat was doing. It just, like, you know, after you've been on a passage and you arrive in a location like this, you kind of feel like, you know, you're one of the first explorers in the world, and you're just coming upon this land and you don't know anything about it. And, you know, it's very exciting. It's
incredible.
And then so the next image kind of does the same thing. I mean, I use this image kind of to sum up, like, again, the epitome of what we were doing. But this photo was taken in Tonga.
That water is incredible, just looks so refreshing.
Yeah, and this was before drones. So
how did you shoot it?
What would we do? I'm also a paraglider, so we bought a payout winch with 4,000 feet of line on it. And we would stand on the beach with our paraglider and clip into this line, and our dinghy would take off and pay out 4,000 feet. So I could fly up to 4,000 feet and then detach from the line and then fly around and take pictures like this.
And would you then land in the water, back down, or?
No, I would land back on the beach.
I guess that's a true professional. I mean, doing multiple things at the same time, that you could shoot and re-land.
Yeah, I mean,
dude, geez.
Yeah, but it's actually pretty easy in these environments because it's like laminar wind, so the wind is very stable. So it's very easy to take your hand off the controls and like grab your camera and take pictures.
Pre-drone.
But you can't stay up.
Yeah. Okay.
What? It's pre-drone.
Which is insane.
And so most people look at this.
Yeah.
And they're like, "Oh yeah, this is a drone."
Yeah.
No, I worked hard for this image.
It's incredible. Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and then
I love this
again,
photo.
just like
just those colors to it,
yeah,
like with the reef right on the edge there, as it like gradients down, like with the colors, and the variety is just so beautiful with that.
Yeah, and I don't know if you can see all the people hanging onto a line behind the boat.
I see that.
So that's what we would do. And these like sheer drop-offs, like everybody would get in the water and the boat would just cruise along the side, these like massive walls.
Wow. And it's not a large boat
like,
at all that you're living on, huh? Or that's a good size?
It's a 60 footer.
Okay.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
And then and then I would shoot a lot from the mast to get the aerial view again. And it was like 80 feet, I think I'm up there, about 80 feet.
With your photography, what I'm seeing some like very beautiful, like putting you there. You're putting the viewer there, like as if they're on the boat with you to a degree where they can feel like they're a part of that like adventure. It seems like that, a lot of like your imagery, like that first one, I felt like I was sitting on the front of the boat, and just kind of seeing that like kind of vibe, it invites you in. It kind of puts you, I mean, not that you'd be sitting up on the top of the mast, but it gives you that like kind of perspective that you're within the boat a little more.
Yeah, well, I think with my photography, I was always trying to give a sense of place because we were in these amazing remote places that not a lot of people ever get to see. Yeah. So I was trying to capture that, but also trying to, like, it's hard when you're on a small space trying to show what you're doing. Right. So it's like trying to figure out how to capture that visually is like, you got to kind of find ways to step away from it and then trying to find unique angles that haven't been done. Like, it's really easy for me to say, get in the dinghy and go away from it, just take a standard photo of the catamaran, but that's kind of not enough. Right. It's not, it's kind of a boring shot to me. So it's like, I was always trying to think about different ways I could do that.
Wow. Incredible. So, no. So what lens were you shooting with here? We had a question of like, what lens choice were you using in some of these things? Because, it really could make or break the image. Whether you go up with a wide, and you're probably not taking your entire like collection of lenses to go up to the mast here. How would you pick something like that? Knowing, a lot of visualization when I do my imagery, and what it looks like with a lot of yours is, you visualize that moment, what it is. You're not bringing every lens up there as you go up the sail. Yeah. Right. How are you picking something like that when you're like kind of in the creative process leading up to these moments?
I mean, I would say, like, I think about what I'm trying to capture, and then you try to think about like what lens will help you do that. And then it's a lot of trial and error. Like, I went up the mast so much that you kind of get it dialed through experience. But I mean, I think if I were just doing it for the first time, I would probably be too scared to switch lenses the first time, just because you haven't done it yet. Right. So I mean, if I had to guess, I'm pretty sure I shot this with the 16 to 35.
I love that lens too. That's a wonderful lens.
I use that lens all the time.
Nice. Yeah. Nice.
Because it just gives you that, and then it gives you, when you're up there, you don't have the option to change lenses, so you need a zoom lens. Absolutely. To kind of try to cover your bases. And then oftentimes when I did go up the mast, I usually would only take, generally would just take 2 lenses.
Okay.
And then I would, because I would know, I learned what the best ones were to capture what I was trying to capture.
Thank you for tuning in to this week's episode of Between Sets. Make sure to like and subscribe to be tuned in on all future episodes. Thank you.